He want to fight in White House, and I also want to be there.
Yeah, is that the biggest fight for you, do you think? And again, I know I almost don't like asking these questions because I know you got a big fight in front of you, but is that the biggest fight that they could
I
make
think,
for you?
yeah, for the, like, it's gonna be like big, like, for MMA community, it's gonna be big fights. No.
Accusations has fight fans buzzing again after dropping a chilling declaration that a potentially explosive bout with Ilia could ignite.
This fight, and if UFC won this fight, and we can do this. I know UFC want to do like some big fight in White House. Which fight is gonna be bigger than?
Destiny Russian Danny House didn't flirt with rumor, he detonated it, sending shockwaves through the MMA world with a declaration that felt like a threat wrapped in prophecy. If the UFC truly plans to stage this bout, Dana White will have to crack open the vault and pay, really pay. Naked made it clear the descent to a lower weight to clash with Topuria comes at a brutal price, and nothing about it would be cheap. The whispers instantly turned into wildfire, swelling into talk of a historic UFC spectacle staged at the White House. Yes, the Real White House. What sounded insane hardened into reality once Dana White confirmed real progress toward an event celebrating 250 years of American history. And if that monumental card materializes, Islam is convinced the crown jewel is inevitable, because no fight is darker, bigger, or more deserving of that stage than him colliding with Topuria.
The fight is good, you know. And now I don't know who is gonna be next for Ilia. If we talk about our fights, I have good fights now, and I know he's gonna fight soon, and we'll see what's gonna be happening. You know, he want to fight in White House, and I also want to be there.
Is that the biggest fight that they could?
I
make
think,
for you,
yeah, for the, like, it's gonna be like big, like, for MMA community, it's gonna be big fights. You know? And people want this fight, and if UFC won this fight, and we can do this. I know UFC want to do like some big fight in White House.
The idea of the White House hosting an octagon might sound crazy.
That is exactly why this moment feels so dangerously intriguing, because the UFC president now stands closer than ever to finalizing a plan that once seemed impossible, with the finish line suddenly visible and the tension peaking.
Mock-up images of a full fight setup on the South Lawn. The concept alone has already turned into a dream scenario for MMA fans.
For MMA fans, the tension has reached a boiling point, as he has surged into the position of clear frontrunner to headline the card against Topuria. While both fighters have publicly voiced interest in the clash, Stone has approached it with grim seriousness rather than casual bravado. Now 34, he fully understands the punishment his body must absorb by cutting back to lightweight again after stacking mass for his welterweight move. This isn't just about cementing a legacy anymore. He's weighing the brutal reality of what his body must survive to endure that unforgiving descent once more. For him, even whispering about a 155-pound White House showdown carries a heavy, almost dangerous price, and he's been strikingly honest about it.
You win, he wants to go up to 170. I imagine that's probably where you would want to fight, because you don't want to go back to 155. Right?
If you come, it's gonna be better for me. If I have to cut 155, then it's gonna be hard, and then I might have to pay for this.
But before that dreamlike collision even creeps toward reality, Macaker's attention remains locked on the far more immediate and dangerous task ahead, a massive move set in stone where he is scheduled to confront Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight championship. The clash is booked for November 15th, marking the Dagestani's long-awaited first appearance at 170, a moment loaded with pressure and consequence. This isn't just another fight on the calendar. For him, it's a proving ground, a brutal test to show his dominance isn't confined to a single division. The road to this point has been relentless. After defending the lightweight crown for times, Makhachev deliberately stepped away from comfort to chase a higher peak. His already dismantled Alexander Volkanovski and Dustin Poirier, elite names that define an era. Still, that wasn't enough. The leap to welterweight represents more than ambition, it's a demand for greater stamina, strength, and adaptability. And judging by the intensity of his preparation, Islam appears ready to absorb every challenge that comes with the heavier division and turn them into statements.
Become a little bit big now, because I try to, like, last couple months it's very hard. I use like creatine, protein after every training. You try to eat more, you know, but it's very hard when you train twice a day. So when you're training hard, it's very hard to.
His preparation heading into UFC 322 has been nothing short of punishing, with him openly admitting this camp ranks among the most brutal of his entire career. Gone are the days when his primary obsession was draining himself to make 155 pounds. Now the mission is inverted, stacking clean, functional mass while somehow preserving the speed that made him lethal. Everything around him has changed. The sparring partners are bigger, heavier, and far less forgiving. His strength and conditioning routines have been completely re-engineered, pushing his limits in unfamiliar ways, and the rhythm of his daily life has been quietly rewritten. From the food he consumes to the intensity and structure of every workout, every detail is relentlessly focused on evolving into something more dangerous.
What has been Khabib's biggest message to you during this camp?
Yeah, it's not secret. He told me, like, take him down, try to take him down and make him tired there. And I think I can finish him in the ground, you know. I can choke him, do some like armbar something, because I feel, you know, I saw his skills in the ground. He good, but I have something more.
Islam has even revealed how this transformation has quietly rewired his entire outlook on fighting itself. For years, his existence revolved around the misery of weight cuts, trapped in a ruthless loop of calculating meals, timing bites, and surviving hunger. Now, that suffocating burden is gone, and the difference feels almost dangerous. He feels free. Free to train harder, fuel his body properly, and recover at a pace he never thought possible. It's as if he's finally discovered what it truly means to enjoy a fight camp, not just endure it. He's consistently leaned on supplements like creatine and protein shakes, working closely with UFC nutritionists to ensure every calorie translates into real, functional power rather than empty mass. Nothing is accidental. His target numbers are precise and deliberate. He wants to walk around at roughly 192 pounds, then enter fight week hovering near 183, setting up a smooth, controlled cut instead of a chaotic drain. For the first time in years, the process feels calm, calculated, and terrifyingly efficient. Not having to endure savage weight cuts has flooded Nakasha with a renewed surge of energy and hunger, and he believes this shift will expose a version of himself the sport has never truly seen. He's convinced that competing at 170 pounds will unlock something deeper, darker, and far more complete. In his own words, the years at 155 robbed him quietly. He never felt fully restored, sometimes stepping into the cage operating at only 60 or 70% of his true capacity. The constant fatigue, the dehydration, the frantic rehydration all stacked damage he couldn't escape. This time, he expects to enter the octagon clear, powerful, and fully alive. But as this vision takes shape, opinions across the MMA world have begun to fracture. Some believe a refreshed Islam could be even more dangerous, a nightmare fueled by strength and clarity. Others warn that the climb may dull the razor-sharp physical edge that made him so suffocating at lightweight, questioning whether added mass comes at a hidden cost.
My mindset, I think Islam can finish him on the ground, for sure. And especially it's like, we saw it with DDP. If you never felt one of those Dagestani-style wrestlers, like you don't want it to be your first time in the cage feeling it. Yeah. And Islam and them, they have a different feel. They have a different type of grappling. So for JDM, even in our fight, he makes mistakes on the
closest allies like Uber Nurmagomedov remain unshaken in their conviction, standing firmly behind him without a trace of doubt. Having been at his side for years, Uber insists Islam's evolution has been nothing short of staggering, almost unsettling to witness up close. The added muscle hasn't slowed him, the power feels sharper, and his explosiveness now snaps with frightening intent, blending into a frame that looks purpose-built for the welterweight division. To Uber, this move isn't reckless or risky in the slightest. It's the next inevitable step, a natural progression that was always coming. He believes Islam's ring intelligence, patience, and layered skill set have matured alongside his body, forming a fighter far more complete than before. In his eyes, whatever challenges emerge at 170 will be met with calculated answers, as Islam's experience and adaptability are more than enough to neutralize any threat placed in front of him.
Elena brings to the cage.
He have, he don't have just one plan for fight, and he have plan A, B, C, and like all alphabet, D, E, A, everything, like if something not he couldn't do, he gonna try other one not good, he have next plan, and he's amazing fighter, and he's amazing friend, brother, and I think he will take this belt. I think he deserves.
When I talked to him right after he vacated the lightweight title, he said he was having a bit of a hard time, like adding on the muscle and keeping it on. He said it wasn't making him feel good, but he looks very good now. Do you think he's like very built well for welterweight?
Yes, he become a bigger, now we have more power, more than ever, and I think he's ready.
Not everyone shares that confidence, however. Philip Rowe offers a starkly different perspective. In his eyes, Islam's true dominance was forged at a weight that perfectly matched his natural build, where he could crush and control opponents with authority. At 170 pounds, though, Rowe warns that much of that edge could vanish, especially against Matador, a bona fide welterweight who thrives in the higher division. Jack's speed, pinpoint accuracy, and relentless conditioning could exploit even the slightest lapse in Islam's focus. If Matador maintains his pace and composure, Rowe believes he has the potential to systematically pressure and drain Makhachev, turning the fight into a test not just of skill but of endurance, forcing Islam to battle not only his opponent but the hidden costs of moving up in weight.
Bro, what's cracking, man? Chillin'. Hey, now listen, you're welterweight, you've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop.
Steve Versig, another rising Australian force, couldn't hide his admiration for Matador's evolution. He pointed to Jack's methodical dismantling of Baal as proof of his maturation, but what left the deepest impression on Versig was the precision in Jack's composure, his uncanny patience, the way he measured his opponent, waiting to strike at the exact, perfect moment. That quiet, lethal calm reminded Versig of the fleeting moments when Dustin Poirier had managed to unsettle Makhachev, brief glimpses of vulnerability few had ever seen. To Versig, Jack has unlocked a rare alchemy. He has found cracks in Islam's armor that no other fighter, no matter how skilled, has been able to exploit, blending observation and timing into a weapon that could redefine the matchup.
I mean, I've known for a very long time that Jack is an amazing fighter. He's really good. And he shocked me on how good he was. He handled the grappling exchanges so well. And it's the best striking performance I've seen from him. He just, the big moment, he rose to the occasion. It was, fantastic to see. And I really do think, I do think that the grappling from Islam, he's a better technical grappler than Bilal is, but he's not quite as big. He's not as imposing. And if you looked at the Dustin Poirier fight, Poirier was able to stop some of his takedowns and win some scrambles and stuff like that. I feel like not only will Jack be able to do that, but when he lands punches, it's going to be way more devastating.
Robert Whittaker, intimately familiar with how shifting weight classes can redefine a fighter's journey, having navigated both middleweight and welterweight himself, understands the subtle yet brutal impact of just a few extra pounds. In the cage, he views Jack as an uncommon athlete, one who thrives amid chaos, preserving poise when the pressure peaks. Whittaker believes that Islam cannot be beaten merely by shutting down his grappling. The key lies in enduring long enough to keep the fight standing, assuming Matador can command respect with his opening strikes. In Whittaker's eyes, this isn't just a theoretical strategy, it's a tangible path for a stunning upset, a rare opening where preparation, composure, and precision could collide to topple one of the division's most formidable forces.
Because I think Jack has that X factor. I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. Yeah. I think, and this is people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his...
Dan Hardy took a more analytical lens, dissecting the scenario with a calculated curiosity. He's fascinated by how champions adapt, or struggle, when climbing weight classes, knowing that dominance in one division offers no guarantee of success in another. History is littered with elite fighters who stumbled when confronted with added mass and different dynamics. Hardy's focus zeroes in on Islam's body. Will the extra weight amplify his strength and durability, transforming him into an even more formidable force? Or will it dull the lightning-quick reflexes that once rendered him untouchable, introducing vulnerabilities opponents can exploit? Even if Makhachev navigates this transition successfully, Hardy warns, the path forward in welterweight will be a relentless gauntlet. That division teams with killers, and the margin for error is razor thin. Holding a championship there demands constant adaptation, ruthless strategy, and an unyielding will, making survival and supremacy far more treacherous than before.
Aspinall, which is the blockbuster. I think Della Maddalena's got a bright future. I don't know whether he's going to hold the belt or he's going to lose it to another one of the top contenders and then pick it back up again. I don't think he's going to lose it to Makhachev though. I think Makhachev holds the lightweight belt against anybody in the world, on any day, including Ilia Topuria. I don't think if he moved up he would have much success against Makhachev.
Brad's offered a perspective that cut deeper than the physical, honing in on the mental battlefield. To him, Maddalena's deadliest weapon isn't raw power or lightning speed, but an almost eerie composure that could fracture Islam's carefully honed rhythm. Brad's believes the key to victory lies in absorbing the opening onslaught, patiently weathering takedown attempts, and forcing Makhachev into the later rounds where fatigue begins to creep in. As the pace drags on and exhaustion settles like a shadow over Islam, Brad's envisions the momentum tipping, with Maddalena's relentless endurance and steady output steadily seizing control, turning patience into a weapon as formidable as any strike.
The event is also in your weight class, JDM and Islam. Who do you think is going to win that?
I think the favorite is Islam, but Jackie show like he grew up a lot as a fighter since his top fight. Now he was a long time without fight, almost 2 years, and he got really good skills to fight Belal Muhammad, defense takedowns. So I think he's gonna win.
You think Jack is gonna win?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think he wins a decision or do you think he stops him?
I think decision is really hard fight.
You think Islam stays at 170 or he goes back?
If he loses, I don't know. It depends how he feels during the fights. How close is gonna be the fight,
Gil Romero's perspective surfaced, forged from decades steeped in combat and analysis. Having faced and studied some of the world's elite, Romero praised Maddalena's evolution as a fighter, highlighting a rare ability to think with surgical precision under pressure. He pointed to Jack's composure amid chaos, a trait vividly displayed in his rapid, decisive victory over Belal Muhammad. In Romero's eyes, Maddalena embodies the next generation of welterweight excellence, fierce yet calculating, instinctive yet serene, capable of not just surviving but thriving as the fight escalates into unpredictable, high-stakes turbulence.
Romero gives his honest take. Yoel Romero just shared his thoughts on a potential showdown between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, and it's a must-hear. Romero believes that Maddalena, while being a big 170-pounder, might face a tough challenge against Makhachev's superior grappling. Do you think Jack's striking can beat Makhachev?
Bob Dwish, renowned for his relentless grappling, openly acknowledged the daunting challenge of facing Makhachev's suffocating ground game. Yet he also drew attention to a factor many overlook: Maddalena's underrated takedown defense and uncanny resilience. Observing fights closely, Dwish noted Jack's remarkable ability to spring back to his feet after being taken down, a skill that could tilt the balance and make the contest far tighter than anticipated. In his analysis, the clash may ultimately hinge on conditioning. As the rounds stretch on and their rhythm begins to falter, stamina could decide who asserts dominance when every strike and maneuver carries amplified weight.
Moving up to 170, do you think that he gets the job done and wins that title, or do you think JDM retains?
It's gonna be hard for him, but it's possible to Islam Makhachev wins the second bout. JDM is great fighter, great striker, but Islam is tricky. He has a good wrestling. He's southpaw, he don't get hits, but he takes people down and he rolls people down. And also, we all see the JDM Belal Muhammad's fight, and then I'm sure Islam will take lots of lessons from this fight and Islam will make some adjustments. It's possible, it's gonna be hard, but Islam can win the second.
AA, who has directly felt Makhachev's relentless pressure, offered a grounded assessment of the looming clash. He praised Matalena's methodical approach, noting how Jack dismantles opponents with calculated precision rather than succumbing to chaotic brawls. AA's main focus, however, is stamina. If Matalena weathers the opening storm, he believes Makhachev could confront battles spiraling beyond his control. He also speculates on how Islam might adapt if Jack manages to rewrite the script mid-fight, turning strategy into survival and forcing Makhachev into unfamiliar, high-stakes territory where every decision carries amplified consequence.
Que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam? Maddalena, ele é jogo muito complicado, porque ele é cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né? Aos poucos, né? Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo.
Opinions and predictions have built up an atmosphere of intrigue ahead of UFC 320.
Bakhchev's pursuit isn't just about collecting belts, it's about carving an enduring legacy for Makhachev. A victory would crown him a two-division champion and cement his place among the sport's all-time greats. For Matalena, this clash represents the moment he steps fully into superstardom, toppling one of the modern era's most dominant figures. Yet, looming over all of this is the tantalizing specter of a White House stage if circumstances align perfectly. Should Islam overcome Matalena and Topuria maintain his dominance, the path could lead to a showdown the MMA world has never seen, Makhachev versus Topuria, two reigning champions colliding beneath America's most iconic roof, writing an entirely new chapter in UFC history. For now, Makhachev remains locked in, laser-focused, confronting the obstacle directly in front of him. The Dagestani star knows that before any conversation of legends, politics, or historic stages can occur, he must first dominate the challenge immediately at hand, leaving nothing to chance and embracing the brutal clarity of the fight that defines his present.
To become real, he has to handle business at UFC 322.
The title to that one-of-a-kind spectacle hangs tantalizingly close, a prize that could transform careers, define legacies, and etch Makhachev's name into the annals of MMA history forever.